Hey, hello everybody. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. Although I cannot see you, but feel free to say hi in the chat. So, right on. Let's get to it. Today I decided that I'm going to do a little stream about the internet. And if you don't know this, then basically the internet is a page where you can it's in for testers, so you can find different examples of different things you can find on the internet, like broken images, checkboxes, drag and drop down, etc, etc. Basically a lot of interesting stuff over here, and it's powered by Elemental Selenium. Don't know what that is. Let's see what that is. Elemental Selenium, sponsored by Sauce Labs. What is that? Is that like a course? Yeah, a free once weekly email on how to use Selenium like a pro. Alright. We're going to skip on that today because for testing the internet we are going to be using Cypress. And let's see how Cypress holds against these challenges. We'll see what happens. I'm curious. I basically don't know what's in here, so it's going to be a challenge for me too, and we'll see how that goes. I'm curious myself what we got there, so I think we're going to be starting from the top and then go down to the bottom. And I don't think we can do all of these today. We'll see. Maybe we'll stop in the first half or something, maybe in the third, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But whenever we'll stop, we're going to continue next time. So if you want to look for that, make sure that you follow me here on Twitch, or you can subscribe to me on YouTube. That should be good enough, since I'm going to re-upload the video over there. Alright, so I guess let's get started. I have a terminal over here, and I've made this custom command for me, which is plus Cypress, and let's call this the internet. And this custom script or function is going to create a new npm thing for me, and it's going to open VS Code, install latest version of Cypress, and basically I made myself a script that will do everything for me. Oops, again my camera is broken. Hopefully it will go back on. Let me see. Andrei, nice to see you. You haven't, yeah, that's right, you haven't been here for some quite some time. Let me see what's with the camera. Not sure what's happening over here. I'm using my phone as a camera, and usually it works, but it isn't the first time that this has happened to me during the stream. But never mind. Maybe if I turn on Wi-Fi as well as, yeah, now you can see me. Alright, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully everything will be alright from now on. Oops, almost spilled my water. Alright, well, this is now kind of stuck, not sure why. It looks like it's still installing something in the background. Mate, hi, nice to meet you. Nice to see you here. Okay, not sure what is happening. It somehow my script doesn't work now. Let me see what I can do. Let's maybe cancel this. Let's try that again. Maybe it'll work the next time. Oh, okay. Seems now it worked. It initialized the repo and it should open my VS Code. And it did, but it did that on another screen. So let me show it to you. And there it is. All right, so let's get to it. We got node modules, we got Cypress installed, we got a single test, single spec. There's nothing in it. Cypress. Let me set the viewport height and viewport width. Viewport width, let's keep that on 500, and let's do the height of 700. That should be okay. And let's also set the base URL, right? So we are going to be working on the page of the internet over here. So let's do that and save this. I'll start my Cypress now, npx Cypress open, and that should open Cypress. It didn't? What happened? Node was installed. Okay, maybe something's not right. So let's maybe Cypress clear cache. It sometimes happens when I install the newest version. Still nothing? No, it's cache clear. Cache clear, right. It sometimes happens to me that when I install like the newest version of Cypress, that I get an error. I didn't actually read it, so maybe it's something else. So we'll see. I'll try to run it. If that doesn't work, I'll maybe install not the newest version. I didn't even know that there was version 6.8. Or did I? I think it came like 2 days ago or something. So it's clearing the cache. Hopefully we'll get to something soon. Well, my computer is kind of slow today. It takes longer than I expected. By the way, if you are interested, I like my intention was to go like from the top to the bottom, but if you're like interested in seeing an example, like you're seriously curious about something, then let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat, and we can look at something together if you're interested. This is still working? What's happening? Let me see if I can Cypress open. Okay, let's read the error. Cypress executable is not found. Did I? No version of Cypress is installed. I thought that my script also does the npm install. Alright, let's try to clean the cache again. Any solution for testing socket connections? I wrote a blog about that, but I didn't actually. Let me show you. I didn't actually test the socket connection, like I didn't actually test the WebSockets, but I did the next best thing. I actually looked into the storage of an application and looked into whether there's a change happening in there. So I have this. Let me make this a little bigger. So what I did with the WebSockets, I have this app that basically, if you have two windows and create a board over here, then it's going to appear over here, and that change is handled through a WebSocket message. So there's an incoming WebSocket message, and to test that, what I did, I looked into the, let me see, I looked into the app's storage. So if you are using like a React app or a Vue app, or basically any kind of app, then there should be some kind of storage. And if your app reacts to that WebSocket message in some way, if the change happens in the storage, then you should be able to test that. And I'm doing that over here. So I look into the window, I look inside the app, and basically try to look into the storage. And with the should command that has automatic retry, you can actually wait for that storage change to happen. So that's my solution, and that has been working for me. But I don't think like you can do the same magic that you do with intercept command, that you could do that with WebSockets. Come on, I don't know what's happening over here. Why doesn't the cache clear, and why doesn't the Cypress open? So let me see, I am pretty sure that I have version 6.6 installed, so let's try and do that. I'll do a clean install and see what happens, and hopefully I should be able to open Cypress. Do I? No, I don't. I wondered if I had Cypress opened in another window, but I don't, so that's not the problem. And I've been using Cypress like just a couple of minutes ago, but I did a clean installation over here, so it seems like for some reason that caused some kind of problem. And this again, TypeScript reify note doesn't. Or is there some problem with TypeScript? I don't know. Like, this is strange. I didn't think like this part would be the problematic, because obviously I want to test the internet, and I thought like there would be some challenges, not with something that I do like 20 times a day almost. Okay, let's see if I can open Cypress. What the hell? Why is this 6.8? It shouldn't be 6.8. Okay, let's, if everything fails, sorry, try that again. Okay, let's try to wait for that cache to clear. Come on. Okay, let me, like the cache clear, I think it just goes to the, library folder, I think, something like that. And let me see if I can clear the cache myself. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm deleting some files inside the application storage. So there's like on my Mac there's this like library folder, and there's everything, and there's also a cache folder, and inside that folder there's Cypress folder, and that's where there are many versions cached, and not sure what's this all about. As I said, I've been testing with Cypress just today, but I haven't, like, to be honest, I haven't opened the newest version, so that's why I thought like downgrading would help, but for some reason it seems that we are blocked, and not sure why that is. So let's maybe, I'll wait for that cache to clear. I'm still, like you can see over here, that I'm clearing the trash. I'll delete node modules, and we'll start from scratch, hopefully. Seems like I had quite a lot of versions of Cypress cached, so that's maybe there is some conflict inside or something. Oh yeah, thanks, Peter. I am running it from node modules. I'm not running the global installation. I don't even have a global installation of Cypress, I think. What I did, like, I had this package.json file, and I installed the latest Cypress version, and I wanted to run that. I actually used npx Cypress open, and it didn't work. And I'm still deleting all the cache from the library folder. So I think, like, my suspicion is that there might be some clash inside the cache folder, and that's causing it. Okay, finally. So I cleared deleted everything inside the cache folder, and still with the same problem, and I don't know why. Okay, let's delete this package log.json, and let's do oh yeah, I just npm ci, I just actually deleted the npm ci can only. Okay, so then let's do npm install. Yeah, so I did that actually too. So I deleted the cache manually, and I saw like versions 5 point something in that folder. So I guess, yeah, I guess there might have been some garbage in there that caused some problems. Seriously, I didn't think I would spend first 20 minutes of the stream opening Cypress. But yeah, okay. Sometimes happens. And this again, I'm again stuck on this. Like, what the hell is happening today? And now it seems we're okay. So let me npx Cypress open, and okay. And why is it opening? I'm in the right folder, so what's happening? I installed version 6.6, and for some reason when I run npx Cypress open, it's complaining about version 6.8. Cypress version. So I'm seriously like, library caches. I deleted this just now. Okay, it seems to appear then again. I'm going to keep that cache folder opened. Hopefully I don't spend deleting. Yeah, that's the next thing I wanted to try. Like, thanks, Peter. Let's try opening it like this. See what happens. The same thing. And it still complains about version 6.8, and I don't have that installed anywhere. Please reinstall by running Cypress install. Okay, let's Cypress install. Was this there before? Have I overlooked that message? I did. Yeah, okay, maybe if I read correctly, but I want to be quick with the solutions, and that's what I get for that. So hopefully this helps. It's still installing the version 6.8, and I'm not sure why, because package.json says 6.6, package log.json says 6.6 probably. Yeah, here it is. So God knows what's happening. Oh, we're unzipping Cypress at version 2, 300%. Cool. So only minus 30 seconds to go. Not sure what I've done. I'm so confused. And this shouldn't be the hard part. Yeah, what is going on? Exactly. Yeah, it's unzipping Cypress forever. Is this broken? This happened to you? 30 minutes in Docker. Let's look at GitHub. Let's try to see if anyone else has this issue. GitHub. Is GitHub on GitHub? Press IO. Let's look at issues, if there's anything that's in here lately. Feature request, download, Cypress, intercept. It's too much time to execute. Base URL. I don't see any bugs or something like that. Can install Cypress. That's a different version. Okay. Did it unzip? Okay. No, I delete that. Okay, let's do npm install Cypress at version not latest. That's 6.6.0. I'm trying to install that version because that's the one I've been working on a whole day. So let's see if that works. Let's deploy new version, users will test it. I mean, yeah, like the thing about Cypress should be like, if the newest version doesn't work for you, then basically switch back to the version that works for you. I mean, that's like not a big problem. So yeah, but for some reason I cannot switch back to the old version, and that's annoying. Oh gosh, what's happening? Why doesn't it? I'm getting seriously annoyed at this point. It freezes directory not empty? Well, of course, because I'm trying to install. Just restart Mac. Yeah, I can restart the whole thing. Restart everything. Let's install Cypress version 6.6.0. We'll see what happens. I have seen some incidents on Cypress dashboard lately, but that means like only the dashboard is affected, and it seems like Cypress team got to that really quickly. Cypress open. Oh. Okay. Cypress cannot run because this binary file does not have executable permissions here. So should we? Okay. Nope, nothing, nada. All right, let's just go ahead and start again. I'm going to open a new terminal and let's remove the internet. See what happens now. I'm going to remove the internet, because that's the folder that I've been working on. Alright, so let's mkdir the internet. Maybe something with my script. I don't know. Like, I don't know anymore anything. Internet. Let's open that. So I'll do everything from scratch and see what happens, and hopefully, like, okay, we'll see. npm init. Yes. Let's do everything. Good. npm install Cypress. Please don't freeze. Okay, seems to be working, so let's try npx open. Shite. Okay, cannot run binary file because this doesn't have executable permissions here. Yeah, try Cypress cache clear npx. I tried that, it froze. npx Cypress verify, yeah. That could do something, but the Cypress verify actually runs when the cache is cleared. Cypress open. So I clear the cache, see what happens. Same old thing. Verify doesn't work either. Let's do npx Cypress install. Okay, let's see how many percent of unzipping we will get this time. And I'll try to take a look into the library again and see what kind of caches I have over there. Which node version? Oh, that's a good question. Let me see. Like, it shouldn't be like super old, but let me see. Node -v 15.40. Let me check inside VS Code, because that's Sometimes that does some kind of magic. But no, it's the same. It's all cool. So let's see. I did npx Cypress install now, and I'm running version 6.6.0. That's definitely a version that I was running today. So no reason for that not to work. Well, there probably is a reason, but I don't see that. That's the irony. So yeah, so far just debugging. Why wouldn't the version work? Let me actually try something else again. Oh, let's open new window and see if I can open some other project and open Cypress there. So for example, as I mentioned, I have been using the version 6.6.0, and now you can open Cypress by node models. Let's see if that's true. Verifying Cypress can run. Let's see if Cypress can run. Oh, it's doing something. It's doing something. Let's see. I hear this has some kind of time limit, so if it doesn't make it in time, it's going to like do an error. But if I do that again, it will work, and I'll see. Yeah, command timed out after 30 milliseconds, but I don't think like that was 30 seconds. Let me try again. Opening Cypress. Are you really? I cannot believe this. It has worked. And yeah, like the super cool thing about this, I have no idea how I fixed that. Like none. So yay for me. The issue is gone. All right. Well, I forgot about this little fella. I should have talked to him. Okay. Clear cache and reinstall. Yeah. Well, I tried that before. Like I tried that and it didn't work. All right. Let's get to the thing that I actually wanted to do today, and that was actually to test the internet before I removed it. Hope it's still there. So let's move the height on and width, let's change it to 700, and let's change the base URL to the internet. All right. Cool, and I will remove these examples. I don't need those. And I will write my first test. And let's write it. What will be the... I think the first one was A/B test, right? I actually looked at A/B test yesterday and it didn't work for me. So I'm kind of hesitant to do it now. The A/B testing. Like this should be doing something. And I don't see anything happening here. So I will skip this and go to the second, add remove elements. So we got adding elements and then we can delete them. So okay, I think that should be fairly easy. I think this is pretty standard, nothing too complicated about that. So let's select this URL, or this path rather, and let's write a test for that. So I will open what was that called? Remove elements? Add remove elements. Let's give it this name. Add remove elements, and I will add that thing over here. So I have my autocomplete, and let's see why visit the URL at remove elements. Do I need a trailing slash? We'll see. So let's run that. Let's run and see what happens. Oh, I named it A/B test and I decided to skip that. Okay, I'll rename the file later. But I can actually, yeah, let's write this one and then I'll look into the other thing. Failed to open. Well, aren't we on a roll today? Okay, let's see what's happening. Failed to open. The internet hookup response from the server was 404. Really? Why was that? We got the URL right and the status was not 200. So did I copy the, or is that HTTP? No, it's HTTPS. Let's write a full URL, see what happens. Or oh yeah, maybe the trailing slash was the problem. Yeah, of course. Ah, okay, got it. All right, so we opened our page. That's a success. So let's do something. Let's click on this add element button and let's actually add an element. And I mean, what would be the user story here? Probably we want to make sure that if I click on this element, there's a new button, and if I click on delete, it's going to disappear. And it seems like this is like the whole functionality. It doesn't do anything more than just add more buttons. So if I were to write a test for that, I would probably be satisfied with just adding one element, making sure it's visible, and then deleting that element and making sure that it's hidden. Well, maybe something else, I don't know. Let's look into the elements panel and see if these elements that are over here, if they're any different one from each other. It doesn't seem like they have like a separate class or separate anything. Add it manually. Is there anything, is there like some other class? Can you add automatically? There's nothing else written about this, so I guess this is just it. So I think, yeah, I think we should be okay with just adding one element and then deleting it and then making sure that it gets deleted. So let me find a selector for this. Add element. It has an on-click attribute, and I think that we can select this by text. This doesn't, in this case I would probably choose text, or maybe, so I can select by using contains, but maybe I can specify it, so I will say button that contains add element. So this is the thing I found out, like that is useful pretty recently. So you can select, so the contains command is actually the one that enables you to select element that contains a certain text. So it feels like an assertion, but it's actually a selecting element, a selecting command. Well, you could You could of course argue that if you find it, then it's basically an assertion, but well, let's get not too philosophical here. And let me actually save this and see if it keeps the state. It doesn't. It resets that. So it doesn't remember, it doesn't save the state anywhere. I think so. Oh, let's actually look into the live page. So I'll edit, refresh, and it disappears. So it seems like it doesn't save any data to cookies or local storage or anywhere. So yeah, one less problem to think about. So let's click on this and see if it adds an element. Seems it does. So the next thing what I would do is to make sure that a button that contains delete is visible. So should be visible. I could also make another assertion to make sure that we have length of 1, but I don't think I need to do that. Oh, actually, contains will always select only a single element. I think. Let's actually prove that. Let's click this twice and let's see if the contains selects only one element. As far as I remember, it will just, yeah, it will only select the first element. That's a good thing to remember. Like if you want to select contains, it will look throughout the whole DOM, or it will look throughout the context of which you want to specify, and select just the first element. So yeah, this is kind of confusing, right? So we want to contain the button that's going to have the text delete, and it should have length 1, but we obviously see 2, so that's no good. So yeah, we can do it like this. I mean, we could choose another selector and try to make sure that it's and check the length and click that button a couple of times, but I don't know. All right, so we got that, it's visible, and let's then click on it, and maybe I wonder how I would approach this now to make sure that it is not visible. Oh, let's actually not only, okay, I got it. Let's actually add an alias to this, and that will be delete button, and after I click it, the button itself will disappear. So I'm going to get that with an alias delete button, and I'm going to assert that it does not exist. Let's see what this does. I'm only like 0.5% sure that it works. Okay, click failed because it requires DOM element. Where did I do click? Contains delete button. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, okay, I read about this. So if I use the alias, it's going to keep the reference. So although this is kind of strange, to be honest. I don't think this should be happening, because it seems like it's trying to execute the click twice, or there's some kind of check in place, because obviously when I'm using the reference to the delete button and then I use that reference, then it probably checks the whole chain over here again, and it says, well, you cannot click on it because it doesn't exist. But what I actually wanted to do is to check if that button doesn't exist. This is strange. Like I really thought like this would be the way to go here. Okay, so maybe do something else. Let's add element. So let's maybe find another selector. So if I'm going to comment this out, and if I have that button, yeah, let's try to see in the elements panel of how I can select that. So I hide the highlights, and I have a button class, edit, and manually. So I guess I will use that. So add. So I'm just going to get the button with the class added manually. If I had control over this, I'd probably just use some data selector, and I want to make sure that the button then doesn't exist. So let's do that. Okay, now we got it. So yeah, okay, we added the first test. That took longer than I thought. But yeah, like this is kind of one of the simplest tests you can do in Cypress, right? You just interact, make an assertion, make sure that the thing is visible, then that it disappears. Pretty easy stuff. Let me just check if that A/B test behaves differently in Cypress, because I'm using Brave, and that does all kinds of blocking, and I saw like there's some kind of optimizely or something like that hooked into this site, so maybe it's blocking it. So let's try and see if it does anything. But it doesn't seem to do anything. Like A/B test variation, split testing, way business, blah blah blah. See which But yeah, besides the text, I don't see like any versions being here. I see it kind of blinks. I wonder what that is. Learn different versions. Variation. Oh, it says A/B test control, A/B test variation. Oh, now I see the header is changing. Okay, finally. And we got test control, we got A/B test variation, variation 1. How many versions we have? Test control and variation 1. And it seems to be, well, it's probably not completely random. And what I would like to know is to check how that actually works. So if I refresh this a couple of times over here, then what happens? I get these different versions. But what I would like to know is, well, how that actually works, right? So if I refresh that page over here, do I get the same version all the time, or do I get a variation? And it seems like I'm getting a variation over here. So let's look inside the network panel and see if there's something that this page is storing. Page visit count. Okay, that's interesting. So it counts the number of how many times I visited the page. Let's see. It doesn't seem to change, and it is coming from this domain. So it is from the internet. Well, everything is. So if I delete those cookies and refresh again. Will this change? No. But if I do that repeatedly, will it? It doesn't. Let's see if there's some local storage or something. Session storage. It doesn't seem to me like this would be completely random. But maybe it is, I don't know. Maybe the change is happening on server. But if it does, then we should maybe see something on the network part, right? Like there must be some clue on how this app gets the information on which version to serve. And it must be stored somewhere. And if it is somewhere, I believe that we should be able to change that. So for example, in Slido where I work, when we have like a customer flag or a feature flag, then what we do is that what the application does, it makes an HTTP request to a server, and server responds back with the flags that the current user has. So that enables me to inside the test to basically change that response. So I use intercept for that, and I change the response, and I get the version of the app that I want to test. Alternatively, you can store that in the cookies, but that's like less permanent, because if user closes the browser, then basically they are going to get a different version when they reopen the browser. So it doesn't seem like I can simulate the conditions over here. It seems to give me the same version over here, but in Cypress, when I refresh, I get the A/B test control and the variation. And that might be actually the Brave thing doing its thing of blocking any kind of tracking. So let's look over here. So we got the rack session. This seems to be some kind of base 64 thing. So let's see if that's any different each time I refresh. Basically looking for clues on what's changing. And it seems that yeah, it generates a different string every time. We got some UID, and what I'm curious about is what this actually is, because there's like this base 64 decoder. I could do that like inside Node or something, but I want to. But this is like a really cool thing where I can check and decode base 64 format. So let's decode that, see if there's anything. Seems like there is. Maybe it's a little broken because this part at the end doesn't feel like it's base 64. It's maybe just URL string. It seems, yeah, we're getting something readable over here. So we got session ID, some information over here. Oh, it uses CSRF token probably. Okay. So let me see if I can find that token over here. That's usually let me look inside the app, and usually that's stored somewhere in the head. Is there script Cypress action? Okay, this is not the thing. This comes from Cypress. We got something over here. Maybe it's in the footer, page footer, columns, powered by Elemental Selenium. Nothing? Okay, nothing. I thought I got a clue on how that page works. All right, so it seems like I'm not really able to get my finger on it, like how that works. Obviously, there's some session, there's some optimizely thing that is telling us that we are not going to, yeah, basically tells us what version of the page we we should get. But I don't know, like, how would I test the variation, because obviously I don't want to like create a for loop that would refresh my page until I get both of my variations. That would be problematic, right? I wouldn't be able to make sure that the test actually finishes. So let's see, like, this is okay, session ID. Like, I get no information on when we get variation 1 and when we get variation 2, and that's bad. I should have that. So if I want to test the A/B test, I need to know how that works, and I don't seem to be able to find this out. So let's see. There's a session token size, and we got that rec session. Okay, let's let's look into the sources, not security, sources, and there should be, like, our application, like this part is using some kind of script inside it, and this is not it. This is Cypress. We get jQuery, we get foundation alerts, so it uses some kind of script in the background, and I think I should be able to find that. Your app, the internet, A/B test. Nope. And I would like to see how that works. And there is my code, but Foundation.js, that's not really the code of this application, right? What I'm trying to find is how that A/B test works. And so far I have found out that it uses cookies in some way. So I get my variation 1, sometimes I get the test control, and sometimes I get the variation 1. And that seems to be the only thing that actually is happening. And also we got some cookies. But how those cookies change those variations, that's the thing I wasn't able to find out. We can maybe look into the GitHub page. This is my last try. I will try to look into this on GitHub. Fork me on GitHub. How do I click that? Where is the click thing? Let's see. Spec public. Where should that be? Views. A/B test. ERB. And we just got like there's nothing that would tell me what how that functionality actually works. I just get the HTML thing, and like I can click on that and see it, but I would actually like to see the functionality of how that works. If I were to forbid those cookies, would anything happen? Let's try that. Let's try to see if I do Cypress cookies and defaults Then see what we got here. We got preserve. We only got preserve. Isn't there like a, how do you call that? Oh, what's this? Docs. Let's look into the API. Oh, I actually got this. So Cypress cookies. That's what I want. Cypress debug, preserve once, and defaults. Preserve, and I can preserve cookies, and that's okay. But what I would like to do is to basically forbid some cookies to happen. Like that way, I could maybe find out how the app behaves if cookies are disabled or something. But if I preserve those cookies, then I would at least get to the, possibly I could get to the stage of having those cookies the same. So let's try to preserve these rack session cookies and see if my page changes on the refresh. So when I saved, no, still okay. So maybe that wasn't the best clue over here, or was it? Yeah, because no, it changes. Wow, this is harder than I thought. All right, so basically, if I don't know how that works, it makes it really hard to test that. And I would really like to know how this works. What if maybe I've been looking at the wrong thing, because there's also some optimizely cookies segments. Oh, let's see if maybe optimizely actually does the whole magic here, because I may be looking at the wrong thing. Rack session, yeah. Let's see. So what if I use the segments, test control? I get, yeah, test variation, so it does change. Basically, it switches the text between test control and test variation. So let's try and see if I end user EID, if I preserve all of the cookies, if that will actually affect anything. And if that doesn't work, then I'll promise I'll move on to the next example. But wow, this is, I mean, it is fun. Okay, so I decided to preserve all of the cookies that I have. And let's see, so you get the test AB control, test AB control, test AB test control. Okay. So it seems like Optimizely is actually handling this. So if that's the case, so yeah, all right. So if this is the case, then I would maybe change my strategy a little bit, and I would do let's change this to A/B test, and like the most basic thing I could do is to do the set cookie. I would name optimizely buckets and save the value. And then I would set the second cookie and again set the value. And and then again. Oops, segments. And then I would set the value again. And that way, oh, actually, sorry. I need to make sure to run it like this at least once, because it would remember for the whole project now, until I close the browser, I think. And that way, when we have this variation, then we could check if this thing is actually showing us A/B test control. So that's an H3 element. So let's try that. CY contains, oops, H3 and should be visible. All right, so A/B test variation A, and I'm going to copy this and I'll save that for later. And then I would write a variation, oops, then I would write a test for variation B and basically first try to find out what this variation is only. Except I want to close this, and once my test fails, I'm going to run it a couple of times. A/B test control, yep, there it is. Then I would basically do the same thing again. I will look into the cookies and select the values over here. So yeah, that's a slight change in the strategy, and now I can actually see like what the difference is. Oops. Not if I don't select the right thing. Okay, so I could see that the first thing was only slightly different than again, and optimize segments. There's actually the pending log events, so that's interesting because that I didn't see in the previous version of the page. Segments seems to be the same. All right, wouldn't have guessed. And yeah, I need to change the text too, so A/B test variation 1. Okay, so now if I did everything correctly, then it should be working, and it seems it does. So wow, that was like kind of a different way of handling that, but we finally got to that. Like, it was kind of reverse engineering of what this test, what this application does. And you kind of sometimes face that situation, don't you? If you like don't have the developer that made the application explain to you what it does. And it seems like even if I run it multiple times, then it seems to give the results. Okay, so that's great. So we wrote our first test. The second one we already done. So let's just put it quickly back in. So that was, what was it? Add elements JS. Okay, we got it, and that was add elements, and I got this somewhere over here, so let's uncomment this. Okay, so just so we have that thing over here. And what was the add remove elements? Okay, so we got that, add /remove elements. Oops. Add, remove elements. All right. So let's add, remove elements. So let me run that too. See if we can, if I didn't break anything. Did I break something? No. Okay. All right, so let's get to another example. So we struggled, or I struggled over here with the A/B test. So let's jump into the next one. See how long will that take. Basic authentication. Oh, that's cool. All right. So yeah, we got basic authentication over here, and the username and password is admin and admin, right? And we then see the page. All right. Now I have general idea of how that works, so we'll see if I'm successful over here. So basic authentication.js. Let's add these reference types over here, and let's write a test for basic auth. And if I try to visit that page just simply by clicking the basic auth, I think that's going to trigger the thing, right? Let's see. Yeah, okay, it says unauthorized, and if we set up on fail status code, then basically we get, we'll see what we get if I set this like this. Okay, it's going to trigger this thing, and I need to input that manually. And yeah, we got there, but that's probably not what we want. So let's look into the docs, because I think these basic, well, if you're opening a page, if you're visiting in your browser, what you are doing is almost the same, or it's basically the same as if when you do an HTTP request to an API endpoint, but instead of getting some JSON text or string or something like that, you get the whole HTML page. The principle is the same. Like, I'm not saying that it is exactly the same, but the principle is the same. So if I go to a page that is going to give me back 401 because I'm not authorized, then yeah, then basically I will get the error, and I can choose with Cypress to ignore that. That's one way to do that, but that's not really testing it. So what I need to do is, whenever I try to hit that server with the visit command, I need to be authorized. And I'm guessing there isn't there also some storage or something like that? Doesn't seem so. Okay, so instead I probably need to have the authorization inside the header. And there are some headers that I can choose for the visit command. And there's also auth, so I can add basic authorization headers. So that seems to be like something that should work for us. So I need to add the auth and add the username and passwords. So let's see if that works. And I should not be needing this, I guess. So that would be admin, and yeah, seems to be working. Let's lose this, see what happens. Okay, it gives me an error. If I provide the authentication, then I'm in. Good. So let's write a test. I want to make sure that what? Should I check the URL? I mean, if I give a bad, okay, let's write a couple of tests. Let's give it a bad name, right? And it gives me a 401 error. I think, I thought like if I don't give the page, if I don't provide the page an authorization, then it will actually redirect me to the you have proper credentials. So it does seem to save something in my browser that actually authorizes me. So let's maybe open incognito window, and if I don't provide anything or I type cancel, it says not authorized. So I wonder if I can cancel that. I'm not sure I can. Okay, so let's focus on the happy path now. So if I enter if I'm authenticated, then then what happens? I'm basically getting to that URL, but I'm visiting it, so I'm not sure if that's everything. Maybe we should check just the, okay, I'll check the URL. So we are absolutely sure that we are on the correct URL. Or let's do location path name. I'm not sure. Let's save that and see what it gives us. So when I click on the location path name, I can see, yeah, the basic auth. So I'll just location path name should equal basic auth, and let's also get, or let's maybe again use contains. Like that seems to be pretty useful in this test. So let's do h3 and do the basic auth should be visible. Oh yeah, I used get instead of contains. All right, should we check also this? Okay, let's do that since you say so. Okay, congratulations. So we got, so let's again do a nope. CY contains, we got a paragraph and it should contain this text. Congratulations. And just for the hell of it, let's try to make sure that it's actually visible, so that it not only exists in the DOM, but it actually shows up. Good. Okay, so we got another test. So let's go down. Broken images. Let's see what this does. It does broken images. I wonder what to test here. Maybe help me out, guys, folks in the chat. Like I see the broken images, but if I see broken images, what I want for them is to be fixed, right? And if I see an image, then I see an image. Like what's the user story? Like this is a bug report, right? I don't want to have broken images on my site. I wouldn't ship this because this is broken site. Now I can see, like if I look into the resources that are loaded, that I get these 404s, and like if I would seriously try to make sure that those broken images remain broken, then I would probably use intercept for that. I think I should be able to basically match these this URL. Let's try that. Let's see what happens. So broken images.js. We get that. Let's write a test for broken images, and I will visit my page. That's what is it? The URL, broken images. Okay, good. And what then? I should maybe, yeah, I should write an intercept. And let's see if I can match the image of the non-broken image. That's avatar blank JPEG. So let's see, avatar blank, and let's give it an alias of avatar. So let's see if I can alias it, if I can match it. So I'll open my test now, broken images. And it seems like we are able to match, so that's good. Yeah, you're test the checks for broken images. Okay, so we want to make sure that all of the images that are on the page are not broken. Okay, so not sure if I would do that with an end-to-end test. I think visual test might be more effective over here. But I mean, we can certainly do that. Let's look for the images, and it seems like, yeah, here they are, and it seems like they are actually have a slightly different path. So the avatar has img/avatar, and the SDF and HJKL have not. So okay, so I am going to copy this. Oops, I accidentally copied these two, and let's search for what AJKL and ASDF, and this would be KL, and this would be ASDF, because I don't know what's supposed to be on these images. Let's see what we match over here. So it seems like we are matching. I didn't match the avatar right now. So why is that? It could be cached. Let's see if it's cached. Let's run this. Did it match it right now? No, it didn't. So, did I lose it? Okay, run that again. Let's see the IMG avatar, and it seems like it goes from memory cache, and I'm pretty sure I can disable that, and I know how to do that in my app. I am not entirely sure how I can do that in this application. Basically, I have an app that that can also cache its responses, and there's a header that gets sent which tells me whether I want a cache or not, and I may be looking at it, but I don't know which would that be. But let's see, let's actually write a couple of wait commands. So I'm going to wait for that ajkl and that asdf and see what happens. And I can see that I'm waiting for them. And wait, I want to look inside that wait, and the response is 404. So if I were to test this, I would write that its response status code should not equal 404. And I would do the same for the other. So like this. And that would be it, like, for the test. And it doesn't equal 404. It equals 404, so therefore it will fail. But I mean, yeah, this doesn't seem like a very effective way of testing that. And if I would be totally precise here, then I would also write one for avatar. But then whenever I want to check for the broken images, then I would basically need to intercept that and check the status code. Doesn't seem like a very effective way of testing. At least not to me. Like, if I had 50 images on a page, I would definitely not try to do this. Now, we can think about a way of how we can make sure that there are no broken images on page. And to that, I don't really have an answer. Like, I would have to think about that. Okay, challenging DOM. Let's see what this is about. The hardest part in automated web testing is finding the best locators. Once they are well named, unique, and unlikely to change, it's more often than not that the application you're testing was not built with this concept in mind. This example demonstrates that with unique IDs, a table with no helpful locators, and a canvas element. Okay. Well, basically what I've been doing from the beginning was that I was using the contains command, which selects the element based on text. While that may not be always the best approach, I think that that it might actually help sometimes. Like, for example, let's say we got this full bar bus button. Oh, and they change. Okay. Okay, in this case, yeah, I rest my case. I mean, for example, if you have an email application or a chat application, then basically send button will always be send button. If that ever changes, that's a huge change. I think that you should have that reflected in your test, because if it's misspelled because of some change, or it doesn't contain that text, that would actually be a bug. So in that case, I think like going with the text is actually the best way to select the element. Or maybe write an assertion if it has that text. But I mean, in this case, you can probably choose your approach. But okay, so I see whenever I refresh this page, these buttons will be different. Whenever I refresh this page, I can also see, what can I see? Like, this table seems to stay the same. So what should we do here if we want to select different elements? Does this do anything? Edit, delete? Doesn't seem so. It seems like it doesn't do anything. and this is just a table. And here are 3 buttons that are changing, but they don't seem to be changing color. They seem to stay the same. So, I mean, obviously, what I would try to do in this application, if I'm testing with Cypress, is basically to create a data selector. So I can be sure that whenever I want to select an element, I will get the right element. And if that gets deleted, well, that's a red flag. I need to make sure that it gets back, or basically I adjust the test. Here it seems like we have these unique selectors. It seems like a generated ID, so if I refresh that, it will probably change. I think, yeah. I think that's the point. Yeah, okay. So it changes, although they have the same ID 3 times. Wow, nice. Whoever made that, kudos. I like that. Like the obscurity of this, it's a piece of art. I love it. So yeah, but okay, let's say you don't have control over the application, which again, I think it's not ideal. I think it's kind of an anti-pattern, so I would strongly recommend that you somehow get the control of that app. But okay, let's select these 3 buttons. Okay, so we know that there is something that doesn't change, and that thing is the color. And I wonder how those colors are styled, because it seems like the ID changes, and there's a button, there's button alert, and there's button success. And I mean, this would probably be my go-to selectors. The alert, success, and this would be probably the first button, or button that doesn't have the class. Like, you can certainly do all kinds of crazy stuff here. Okay, so let's do all kinds of crazy stuff here. Let's select those buttons. So let's create a new test that will be challenging DOM.js. Let me give those types and write a test for challenging DOM. So let's visit our page. Visit. Where's my autocomplete? Oh, here it is. And that would be challenging DOM. Nope. Where do I have it? Here it is. Save it. Open the test. And we got it. Although I kind of wonder if this is like totally randomized, or do we again have some kind of cookie in place that's kind of changing the variations? Because if this change was like in any way intentional, I would try to get control of that situation and try to make sure that I have the application under control when I'm testing it. But okay, let's leave that for a moment. Let's try to go with the flow. We have challenging DOM, and let's select, I don't know. So let's select these 3 buttons, then select something from here, and then select this. I mean, this is canvas. I'm not sure if I can do anything besides selecting the whole thing, but okay, let's start at the beginning. So we got these buttons, and okay, so I know they are button elements. So let's get and see how many buttons we get back when I write a selector just like that. Oh, it doesn't have a button? Oh no, it was okay. That's again, piece of art. Really kudos to this. So it looks like a button, but it's actually anchor tag. Nice. I mean, I must laugh. This is amazing. Like, whoever has done this thought of every tester horror story there is. This is, yeah, beautiful. Okay, but it seems that if we get the button class, then we get only those 3 buttons. So we are getting somewhere. And okay, so let's, I don't know, if we were to select the button that has the class alert, and I think that's the second one, then we would get this, right? We got it? Okay, we got exactly 1. If we were to select Css, forgot how to English, then we select the second element, the third button, the green one, and that's good. But how do we select the first one? Well, I mean, looking at the application, it seems that we can just do this. Like, they don't change the order. So I can select all 3 and then filter. And this is actually an approach that I can choose with every button, because not only I can, yeah, I could definitely use numbers, although I don't like to see this too often in the test. Like, if I do this, I want to be absolutely certain that those elements don't change the order, or that in fact the order is somehow important for the application. So what I would do probably is maybe try to filter. Use the filter, and to filter the second would be to choose the alert. So basically first I select all the buttons, and then I just filter the button that I need. And again, this is the approach I could choose with the third button too. And there I have it. I can also choose to do the exact opposite. So I can filter the button that is not something, and I can give it a class. And I have selected like that it's not alert, and that seems to work. I wonder if I can select not alert, not success. This would be the way to get to the first button. Seems so. So first I get 3 elements, then I get 2, and then I get only the 1. So we can definitely do this. I mean, it's kind of verbose because I'm doing not alert, not success. Not sure if I can put both. Like, is there a way in CSS to give like a pipe or something? Let me search for that. I wonder about that. CSS selectors. Oh, you can do, yeah, you don't need to do pipe, you can just do comma. So maybe that could work. So not alert, not success. Oh yeah, it works. So yeah, the same way you would do that with normal CSS. If you want to select multiple elements, you can do that over here. That's, I kind of like it. I mean, well, given the the circumstances of this horrible, challenging DOM, I mean, it's horrible and beautiful at the same time. I think I fell in love with this. All right, so we got a table here. So what do we do with the table? Let's select an element, and it seems like there's nothing too challenging about this table. Like, seems like we have the body, we have the head, and doesn't seem to change the text or do something like that. Do the headers change? Lorem ipsum dollar. Seems like that stays the same. Like this part, like this head is not dynamic. This is dynamic. This changes the text. So whatever I want to select over here, I think I could just do with the text. Yeah. So okay, so let's select this. Maybe I'm jumping into an assumption, but I mean, I think that should be it, right? Yeah. Okay, but maybe I want to select the delete and edit button in the table. So yeah, okay. So I actually want to have fun with this a little, just to make this test complete. Let's go into diagonal selecting. This is fun. Okay, and we got this, and let's say we want to select an edit button that is in this line, and that would be line number 7 or line with the index number 6. So let's see how can I delete that. Select that. I want to delete that. I already deleted the internet today. And that has an href of edit, so that's helpful. We also got the text of edit, so I think that should be good enough, and it's inside this table row. So the tr, I think we can go with contains again. I mean, that's not usually my go-to. I usually just create those data CY attributes, and that works for me. But yeah, okay. So let's select tr. Oh no, actually let's get tr. Let's select eq6, and let's find the edit. I'm pretty sure that should select this element, right? So in the line 6, the edit. Oh, I made some error. Does this text change actually? Oh no, okay, I forgot. I totally forgot. Contains is actually, like, it can behave as a parent command or as a child command, and it depends all on whether we give it a parent command or not. So this contains actually looks inside the whole DOM, and the first element it finds it's going to give us, but this contains will actually try to find this text inside the other one. So I need to make sure that that doesn't happen. So let's write it like this, and we should be good. Bam! Okay, so we selected one element, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's cool. And we got the tr. Okay, I missed it. I missed it by 1 because table row is actually also this element. So the table row, table head. So let's make sure I don't miss that. And it should just be probably t body tr. Yeah, okay, I got the right one. So let's again select the delete, and I'm going to do that in the other line. So delete, And okay, we got it. Now, what to do with this? Let's see. I'm not that familiar with the canvas element, but it doesn't seem like inside the DOM doesn't seem like there's anything inside the DOM that I can actually test. Like I can select the canvas element, but is there any way of how I can actually select the text? And by the way, that text seems to be generated all the time, but I don't know. Let me know in the chat if you have ever worked with the canvas, if there's any way, if there's anything I can do with that. It seems like, yeah, if I right click on it, it behaves like an image. So I can save the image, look inside the image where I got the image. Don't know where it got saved. I just lost it. Maybe, I don't know. Or does it? Oh yeah, yeah, I forgot about this, that it actually downloads in the download folder. So you probably cannot see this. It's transparent and I see the answer over here. And yeah, okay, so I guess that's it. Like I can get the canvas, but I'm not sure if there's anything else I can do. So, and by the way, if you haven't noticed, then basically if you download anything, it gets downloaded to your download folder. I think that change happened with like Cypress version 6.3 or something, something like that. And it's useful if you want to check the downloaded file. All right, let's do one more and let's wrap it up. And we'll meet again. And I will make sure that the repository gets published on my GitHub page. So if you want to check out, you can look into the filmbreeze.com and /GitHub, and it will redirect you to my GitHub page. So I will publish it as soon as we finish. And yeah, to answer a question from chat, yeah, I will be uploading this to the YouTube. So, but I'll maybe try to cut this so it doesn't, like, I want to leave out the whole beginning part where I struggled with everything, with life. All right, checkboxes. Oh, that's beautiful. That's easy peasy. So let's write a test for checkboxes. And I actually I chatted with someone on where was it, on Ministry of Testing Slack, and there was someone who was struggling with like unchecking the checkbox, and he was using the check command in Cypress, and it was working fine, but then there was problem with unchecking the box, and for some reason they were force clicking it or something like that. But the easiest solution was to basically uncheck. There's also an uncheck command, and the person didn't know that. But yeah, there are tons of cool commands in in Cypress, so I suggest that sometimes you just read the documentation for fun. That sounds like something that only weirdos would do, right? But I mean, the documentation of Cypress is pleasure to read, so I suggest, especially like the part where you have like not only the commands, but there's actually quite a lot of content on the whole philosophy of how to approach testing, And I think like that's really valuable stuff. Like for example, the part on conditional testing, that was an eye-opener for me, because it often happens that when you're starting with test automation and you carry the whole experience that you have gained with exploratory testing and with different techniques and different views on how to test something, that when you start with automation, that you want to kind of apply that to how you write your test script. So for example, if A/B test, right? If I see this page, then do this, but if I see the other page, then I would do this. And that is a valid approach when you're doing manual exploratory testing. But if you want to test, if you want to write test automation, then you kind of need to change your approach, and you don't want to have if statements in your test, because if you do, then you're basically creating two different outcomes for your test, and that's not something you should have. You probably should only have just a single outcome, and that should happen every time that you run your test. So yeah, checkboxes. Oh, it's in a form. Nice. So we get form with the ID of checkboxes. We get input 1, input 2, and again, like maybe we can just select it with the contains command. Let's see. Like again, I'm kind of overusing the command here, but it is really effective for what we are doing here. Basically, we don't have the control over the application. There's no way I could add something to that, and yeah, if I don't have that power, then basically I work with what I have. And what I want to do, talking about selectors, what I want to do is to make sure that it is as specific as it can be, but at the same time, like not be but at the same time be independent. So for example, if I would choose the XPath approach that often uses like the absolute path going from the root, that's no good. And you can definitely do that with the CSS selectors as well, right? So if I click over here and copy like the JS path, that will give me a crazy selector. And I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that the selector is independent of different things changing in the DOM. So let's see if I select the proper thing here. And checkbox seems like it's selecting, what does it select? Feels like it's selecting both of the elements. Checkbox. Huh. It seems like it's selecting the form. That's no good. Okay, then I will choose a different approach. I'll use the get command, and I will select input, input number 0, EQ 0, and then I will choose input number 1. And okay, here I can definitely click on this, right? So I'll choose click, and then I choose another click, and I will end up with a state that's different than it was before. So that's okay, because it seems like this page doesn't it always begins with the same state. But if it would remember the state, then I would get into the trouble, especially especially if I wrote an assertion for that. Let's see if I can use alias over here. Alias input 1. Let's actually call it input 0 so I don't get too confused. input 0, input 1, and now if I select that, get at input 0 should what should it be? It should be checked at the end, right? Should be checked. I kind of got confused with the aliases today, so let's see if yeah, it seems to be working. All right, so okay, so let's have this should be not be checked. Input should be not checked. Oh, input 1. There, we got it. Okay, so we got this, and I'm clicking on both of these checkboxes, and I mean that's kind of okay. But if my page would remember the state, or I would not have the state of the application under control, then if I ran my test again, then basically my test would fail, because this would have the exact opposite state that it had before. And to make sure that doesn't change, you can use check. So whatever the state is before, you are always going to end your test with the input being checked, and vice versa. So if you use uncheck, then you make sure that it will remain unchecked. And that's kind of like a more stable way to approach that, I think. And yeah, that's it. All right, so let's publish this to my GitHub. Oh, I actually haven't initialized the Git repository, so I will definitely update this. Next time we'll meet on Twitch for the stream, I will definitely continue with this. Let's see if we can get to the bottom. So let's git init. So initialize the repo. Let's add git ignore, and add node modules here, so I don't publish this node modules. All right, we got the package, the internet. All right, scripts. Let's do cy open over here and add those node module Cypress open here. Keywords, testing, what else? The internet, and I don't know what else. QA. Okay, we got dev dependencies over here. Good. Let's add a readme file, readme md, and let's write the internet with Cypress IO, and examples of test challenges from the internet app. Now let's put in the link over here, so that will be the internet. Here it is. Okay, got it. And I'll write work in progress. Good, we got that. Let's delete this extra fixture that shouldn't belong here. Let's clean up this so we don't use that. Actually, I am going to use at least this. Support folder, we don't need commands.js, just index.js is fine. Yeah, sure. And I think we are ready. Index. Okay, and let's publish this. Publish to GitHub, the internet, public. Let's make it public. All right. And yeah, I should probably commit this. Okay, init. Let's push this. All right. And let's see if we have it there. So I'll also try my short link GitHub. Does it work? Seems so. All right, repositories, the internet. All right, good. Have fun. So next time we meet, I'm going to continue with this. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for interacting with me. This was fun, at least after we fixed the initial problems. I'll take a look into that, like what was that? Wonder if that's ever going to happen, because I don't know what was happening. So yeah, meet you the next time. In the meantime, you can check this out, and yeah. Oh, and by the way, if you looked into this, you may have noticed that when I clicked on repositories, there is a new thing here: Cypress Test Automation University course. That is something in progress. I've been working on this whole week, so be sure to look out for that, because that's going to happen. Hopefully, we'll see. It's still in the progress, but Cypress, it's kind of a Cypress advanced course. So yeah, hopefully that will come soon. I'm really eager to share that with the world. And oh, Angie, you're here. Hi. Yeah, I'm already bragging with things that are not finished, but I'm really close now. I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be, I think you're going to like it. All right, so thank you very much, and have a great rest of the day. Bye bye.